So, if I'm live, okay, there we go. All right, folks, I hope that you're doing well. Listen, I tried to do a political reading last weekend. Actually, the weekend before last, somewhere in there. And I did the whole reading, and there was no volume. And this whole situation is rather interesting. And naturally, I'm a reader, and so I'm seeing or feeling things from a spiritual perspective. I'm having dreams about it. And what came to mind for me was that this situation that we now find ourselves in, the Canada-Mexico-US tariff war, started by Lord Farquaad, and the stuff around the Panama Canal and the Gulf of Mexico and El Salvador and BRICS forming, there is an astronomical shift taking place. And so I want to say this might not be like my typical readings, I feel. So right now, if you're coming for, love or self-empowerment or that kind of thing, it's not going to be that. Although I actually do want to say to you that this reading is for you, because there are great lessons in this. I don't know what they are. I just feel it. I was compelled. So why am I here? I'm here because earlier today I was online and I was debating back and forth if I should, start to re-engage my French skills or learn Spanish. And so I'm on YouTube and I see that I don't know what to call him, whoever the guy, is it Mark Rubio? Often sends El Salvador. And I was like, oh, this can't be good. This just can't be good. Because I think earlier in the week he was with Panama. And I think he did something to cause China's road development or whatever they were doing there to stop. So they've come up with some agreement, right? Naturally, China's disappointed because China has been going around and investing in countries like Jamaica, building their roads, their infrastructure. Jamaica is naturally indebted to them, and going to all these smaller islands. They've gone into Africa. They're trying to overtake the boundaries, and they are sending, I don't know if I want to say sending, but their men are in Africa impregnating African women. Now, why? Because there's a political movement there, because the natural idea is when you're born in a country, you take on that citizenship. You have an entitlement there. So when you make children with women who reside in the country that you would like to, I'm hearing the word control, so I'm just going to say it. Like there's certain words I wouldn't use, and then there's certain words that spirit would like me to use. So I want to honor that. Okay. And so naturally, if, for example, if I had a child with someone from Switzerland and I stayed here, I live here, and my child is born here, my child is now Canadian, right? And so depending on the relationship, even if there's not a relationship, this child now has certain entitlements that the Swedish father wouldn't have, being Swedish, but the child now has, because I am now the mother, I'm Canadian, and now by de facto the child is Canadian. I hope that makes sense. So that is some of the maneuvering that's going on, okay? So as I'm thinking about this last night, what comes to me is that this feels like it's a reckoning, that there is a shift taking place. And, we have a tendency to see things from an earthly perspective, like I'm here at my desk touching this table. And we're not seeing, for example, in this moment, I'll use it because it's coming to me, that I'm here at my desk touching this table because I've been led spiritually to come on here and deliver a message specific to the people who are able to get it, grasp it, understand it, utilize the information to make themselves better and to see the surroundings around them in a more pertinent, with a both more critical and hopeful eye. I was about to say, I hope that's making sense, but to those who need to get this message, It is making sense. So while I'm in this chat this morning on YouTube, I don't know what they're saying, but my spirit felt like, oh my God, this is bad. Like whatever Mark Rubio was smiling and chatting about and saying to them, because the lady spoke first, right? I guess she's the counterpart for the president of El Salvador. And I get the feeling that he didn't show up, but she was there to sign. Okay. And so I wrote in the chat, and everybody is Spanish, or everyone is speaking Spanish. I'm like, I am fearful that you have sold your souls. And they're all, saying whatever they're saying. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. So then Mark comes up. And I want to say, be careful of the devil's charms. You understand me? Some of the most wicked people are charming and alluring, and they have the gift of gab. They are able to communicate. They can make you feel like you're the only person in the room. Meanwhile, they have a dastardly agenda behind them, okay? So what is the news? I mean, for Americans, I guess you're happy with this, right? But what's coming to mind, as I said, I guess you're happy with this. For the people on the receiving end, so countries like, let's say like Cuba, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Haiti, South Africa, he feels that these countries, I think he referred to them as the shite of the world, or like the toilet bowl of the world, like shitty countries, right? That's how he sees them. So for me, when this individual is going to places like Panama and El Salvador, and if you look at the map, there's a stretch. I want to say Panama is up here because that's the Panama Canal, I believe. So it goes like this. Greenland is here. Canada is here. The US is here. Mexico is here. I think then it goes, Cuba's over here somewhere. Jamaica's over here. All the small islands are here, right? And then you go down, there's Belize, and there's the Panama. Oh, let me go back. By Mexico here is the Gulf of Mexico, which he wants to attempt to rename. All of this is an issue of control. That is why I call him Lord Far. I don't even know if I could say I call him that. I'm going to say that's the image I was given. Lord Farquaad. So that is from Shrek. I love that movie. I love that series. But authoritarian, controlling, small, and people like this behave in a way because they have a shortcoming. So for Lord Farquhar, it was because he was short. Like he would have a horse and he would put these long legs on it. So when they would lift him up and put him onto the saddle, it looked like he had long legs, but he didn't. The other image that came to me was the Wizard of Oz, but not your regular, I don't know what it was. Okay, Google, what year did the Wizard of Oz come out?
In Canada, The Wizard of Oz was released on August 21st, 1939.
Okay, I was going to say 1940. Okay, great. So 1939, as opposed to the Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Nipsey Hussle version. So, okay, Google, when did The Wiz come out?
In the United States of America, The Wiz was released on October 24th, 1978.
So 78 versus 39. Okay, Google, what is 78 minus 39?
The answer is 39.
Okay, it came out in 39, then 39 years later. There might be something there. I don't know what it is. Don't have time to unpack that, okay? So I'm saying all that because I saw Lord Farquaad last night, but I heard, what was his name? Richard Pryor's voice on Kendrick Lamar's album Euphoria at the beginning, meaning it is not what it seems. All is not what it seems. When I see Donald Trump, he looks like he's strong, vivacious, he's got it, to an extent, but I see him as a smaller man. I honestly, I think I need to differentiate. It's not that I see him, it's the visions that I'm getting, that he's compensating for something, right? I keep hearing that he has ED. Not my business. I'm not going to be with him. But there's something in him personally that he feels that he has to overcompensate, which is why he moves the way that he does. I do want to say, I'm a proud Canadian. First generation born here. My kids are born here. My roots are South American, Guyana specifically. So I have a very unique perspective on both being in, let's call it this Western culture, but having my roots in solidarity with the people over there and what they're going through. So let me just say that. So anyway, this also, so what happens is, I know it's taking me a while to explain. I don't even know if I'm really going to toss any cards. But what happens is I get these flashes of images, and then it takes me forever to explain it because I have to dissect everything that was in the image and convey it. Okay? So, oh, and I made some notes, by the way, right? I don't know if we're actually going to get through like all of it, but what we're doing is we are going into the mind of Donald Trump. So that's today. So maybe, I'll say maybe, some of the topics are, I don't know if we'll hit them all. The current focus, the cause of his motivation, his strengths, his weaknesses, what is hidden that we don't know, his goal, and what potential outcomes are for him. Again, this is like a rough outline. You know, we'll see how spirit flows. But I was given this, and we'll see, you know, where we go with it. Give me 1 second. I need to grab a drink. Okay. All right. So when I was watching the YouTube this morning, and I said, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel good. I think this is bad news. You know, this guy is a snake. Like, we have our Canadian snakes. We have, am I allowed to say this? Okay. This is my opinion. I'm not pleased with the PC leader who thinks that he believes that he should be, could be, wants to be the new the Prime Minister for Canada. He's not the one. He has tendencies that are just as deceitful as the US counterpart. Okay? He would be a minion to Lord Farquhar. He would sell out Canadians. Then there is a lady in Alberta who is the premier, who found it necessary to continually go ahead of ourselves and negotiate on behalf of Canada, or Alberta specifically, when no one is yet properly sworn into the US, for her to be having these conversations with, for her to turn around and talk about how she's so disappointed that the tariffs are coming. You have no authority. Like, what is going on here? None. You have no authority. Canadians are displeased, let's say for the most part, with Trudeau. I think he handled this well. Personally, I think I'm speaking. Am I? Is it me speaking, or am I getting whatever? Maybe we'll clarify that later. There are two camps when I look at the U.S. There is certainly this current administration, and there are the Republicans and the MAGA that go along with that administration. That's one camp of the U.S. The other camp. Let me correct that. There is the administration, there are the Republicans, there is MAGA, and there are those who chose not to vote. Understand something. Choosing not to do something is still an action. It's an action because either you're not taking the action, which is an action, it is a choice, or because you've abandoned your choice, you've allowed other people to take the action and to dictate. Or instead of them only getting one vote, now they get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10,000, 50,000, 1,020. You understand? Like, did I just say 1,020? What the hell? Right? But you understand what I'm saying? You're giving your vote away, and you're giving people the right to utilize their vote the way that they see it. Okay? And then there are those who voted, and I'm hearing very clearly, it's not my place to tell you if you voted right or wrong, but you get what you pay for. Do you hear me? You get what you pay for. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because last night I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about this situation here in the state. Well, not here. I'm not in the States, but in the States. And it came to mind that in the Bible, Israel was saved. They were taken care of out of Egypt, 40 years in the desert, all of that, right? But even after all of the saving, all of the helping, all of the care, all of the protection, all of the, being fettered and guided and held under the providential hand of God, they were not satisfied. They were not satisfied. And they begged and badgered and requested and bemoaned and carried on and that they wanted a king. They wanted a king. They weren't satisfied with what they had. The situation might not have been perfect for them, but it was much better than where they were, okay? And so God said, fine, I will give you a king. And they regretted that. I hate the term son of a bitch. So I'm going to say they regretted that son of a bastard, right? They regretted. They regretted. I want to see if I can, okay. So it says here, 1 Samuel 8, we find Israel rejecting their God, the one who rescued them from slavery, provided for them in the desert, the one who gave them victory over their enemies. Instead, they demanded a king who would judge them, go before them, and fight their battles. Okay? They demanded a king. They were not satisfied. Okay? And so then this morning, I hear the thing about El Salvador, and I'm like, this is really bad. I hope people understand what's happening. So if you don't know what has occurred is, I need another sip. This is Canadian ginger ale, by the way. Okay. Mark Rubio has agreed with the El Salvadorian government to, one, do some kind of nuclear project. They're going to be on the cutting edge of technology and blah, 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 right? I'll tell you that Mark Rubio guy, very charming. Very charming. Not necessarily charming on the eyes, but charming, and it's not a slight, right? Charming in the ears, charming in their presence, charming in the way they speak, charming in the way I'm hearing that he was able to finesse El Salvador into the following. So the first thing was whatever nuclear blah, 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 technology, right? And I'm sure it was presented behind closed doors that we will, like, I'm not saying, okay, listen, I don't know about El Salvador, to be honest. And I also didn't want to look it up ahead of time, right? Like, what is the point? What is the point of me, necessarily doing all this research and coming and doing a reading? That kind of, it negates what I've been led to do. So El Salvador is being given, promised, offered all this nuclear ability, and they're going to be on the forefront of this technology and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Probably not the greatest type of energy production and all that, but that's not the part. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to take back all their criminals. So the people they want to deport. Now, why is that? Think about it. Why? The other day, where were they trying to fly? Was it, I want to say Colombia. I could be wrong, but I'm seeing a C word. They were trying to fly, the U.S. was trying to fly back their detainees to the country. The country wouldn't accept them. Maybe they denied them twice, which is interesting. Denying them twice. I just heard Peter, like in the Bible, denying Jesus, like rejecting. But Peter actually did it 3 times, nonetheless. And the agreement was that they cannot come back on fighter jets. They have to be private planes.